All right, fourth grade artists, let's talk about how to draw from observation. Okay, we're going to look at an image of the bird that we've chosen to draw. Make sure that, first of all, you've chosen a nice image, that you have a large bird in the picture. It's not a tiny little bird. We want a large bird so that when we draw later, we can show some texture in the bird. We want to make sure that the bird is posed in an interesting way. I chose this American flamingo to draw. So your paper can be horizontal or vertical when you're drawing. I'm going to choose to make mine horizontal because that's sort of the same pose of this bird, and I want to make sure I draw my bird nice and large. We don't want to draw teeny tiny. So the first thing I do when I draw is I look at the shapes that I see in the bird's body. So for me, the big important shape of this flamingo is sort of this like teardrop shape of its body. So I'm going to sort of sketch over that with my hand, just sort of trace around that with my pencil, and then sketch nice and light on my paper. I'm going to darken mine up so you can see it, but yours should definitely be nice and light. And it looks like there's a little bit of tail feathers down here I can sketch in now. Pay attention to what you actually see. Drawing from observation is about drawing what you see, not what you think is there. So pay attention to the way your bird is shaped. So that's my sort of general shape. I did add a couple of lines here to show some of these feathers and just different colorations that I see here. So you are going to have a little extra challenge because your photo is on your computer. So you're going to have to try to do the best you can to observe. You could always zoom in, but observe your drawing. So I saw this shape. Now I'm going to sort of try to draw this shape of this flamingo's head, which this is not an easy shape. This is kind of a tricky one. So always sketch lightly. You can always make changes. Make sure you got this whole guy to fit on the page. I see this sort of S shape, so that's what I'm starting with, this S shape. And then he has a little bit thicker shape here in his head. So I'm going to thicken it up there and then really pay attention to the angles that you see in the bird's face or just in the bird in general. So when I sketch, I hold my pencil really far down so I can get lighter lines. And I also sort of do sketchy quick lines. So I'm not trying to just draw like one very hard exact line. I'm just kind of getting the idea of these shapes, right? Because we need to change them, make sure they're what we want them to be. So I could tell already I'm going to have to make a couple adjustments to my flamingo's neck, which is part of the process. We're not going to get it right the first time. So let's clean him up a little bit. This shape was tricky for me. So I have a similar shape. I'll play with it a little bit more and give him a little longer neck. And now let's look at how the bird's legs are angled. This leg looks pretty straight to me, but then this leg has this little knee down here. So if I'm drawing from observation, I'm not just going to make up what his legs look like. Got to pay attention to the thickness of the shapes I see. And then, of course, there's a little water here, so I want to make sure to include that. And this leg is a little wider here. And then this leg's a little bit straighter. So get a general sketch of your bird. And I'm going to add just a couple general little lines about where the water is going to be and then focus a little more on where these parts of his face go. So when you're sketching, it's important to know that it's okay to change lines. It's good to change lines. It takes time to really get your drawing exactly how you want it to be. So today with your time, I want you to work on sketching your bird and really pay attention to drawing from observation, not just winging it. It's not from our imagination. We're looking at something and then drawing it. So if you're ready to draw from observation, let me know and I'll get you some paper and you can get started.